Hey, what's going on, you guys? Sorry I've been missing out on content for the past few months. But I thought it'd be fun to bring back an old deck since G has now come officially to standard. Uh, so we'll just get right into it. It's Gurguit. Can't wait for it to come out. Hopefully it comes out soon, which I know it won't. But anyway, starter is Knight of Early Dawn Coel. Sorry you can't really see it because of the glare. But skill is Forerunner, GB1, Unite. For those that don't know, Unite's a mechanic where if you call two cards during the same turn, then once you have Unite, you can activate other effects and abilities and other stuff. The rest of the skill is you shove it to Soul, look at top three cards of the deck, call one of those cards, and shuffle the other two into the deck, and then that unit gets plus 2k until end of turn. Really good starter. Haven't changed in a very long time. Next, for grade 3s, is your main boy, Golden Holy Sword Gurguit. Skill, GB2 Unite. All your rear guards get intercept in a skill of any unit that has the skill can intercept from the back row. So it's pretty nice. I don't use that skill a whole lot, but it's still nice to have that kind of guard capability. Second skill is Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When you stride, you pay the cost, look at the top 4 cards of the deck, call one card, shuffle the rest into the deck, and then if that card you called has the Unite ability, you look at the top card of the deck and call it to a rearguard circle its rest. So you can just fulfill that Unite mechanic and get other skills off. Next, for grade 3s, basically Stride Fodder, but technically not. Sunrise Ray Knight Gurguit. This is the first Gurguit that came out. Skill is GB2. You Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. Look at top 4 cards of the deck, and you call one to the Guardian Circle as rest, and you shuffle the rest into your deck. It's kind of like Golden Holy Sword, but it's not Counterblast or Soul Blast restricted. But it still kind of has that guard capability. Second skill is you Counterblast 1, look at top 4 cards of the deck, call one, shuffle the rest into your deck, and that unit gets plus 3k or 2k, 2k until end of turn. I try not to ride this as much as possible. I just use it for stride fodder. That's all I can say about that card, pretty much. And then I have this little tech, Million Act Dragon. I mostly use this card just for Link Joker matchups because of locked cards is a thing. But it's Counterblast 1. When you stride, you can put all other cards except for Vanguard on or to the bottom of the deck. Look at 3 cards of the top of your deck. Call up to 2 separate rearguard circles, and you bottom deck the other one. So it's just nice to, when you have a locked card, you stride this if you have to, and you can just get rid of your locked cards to call a new board. Moving on to grade 2s, got 3 copies of Knight of the Remaining Sun Henrinus. One of the best grade 2s I have in this deck right now. GB1, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1. When this is placed on rear guard, you pay the cost, look at top 3 cards of the deck, call one, bottom deck the other 2 in any order you want, and then that unit that you called and Henrinus both get 3k until end of turn. So again, meets Unite requirements, but I don't like that the Soul Blast cost, and I'll get into that later on with other cards. But yeah, next 3 copies of Knight of Daylight Canarius. Rearguard Unite. If you have a Vanguard with Gurguit in its card name, it gets plus 4k, which is nice. And then GB1, you choose a card from your hand and discard it. You look at the top 3 cards of the deck, or when this is placed on Rearguard, discard a card, look at the top 3 cards of the deck, call 1, bottom deck the other 2 in any order you want. It's just kind of like Henriness, but that called unit doesn't get power. The reason why I don't like Canarius is you lose a card from hand, but I guess it's fine when you're refilling your board. Next, 2 copies of Knight of Spring's Light Perrymore. Has a Unite ability, gets plus 2k. Second skill is GB1, Counterblast 1. When this unit is placed on Rearguard, you look at top 3, and if you call a card, you must call it in the same column as Perrymore. Then you bottom deck the other 2 in any order you want. And yeah, it doesn't get any power. Yeah, the only reason why I don't like Perrymore is because in some cases I call Perrymore, use its skill, and if I choose to call a card, I usually have to call behind it. I guess I could call over it, but it's still kind of annoying when I have like a grade 1 in the back of Perrymore and I use Perrymore's skill of like, I guess I gotta get rid of this grade 1 that I really wanted, but oh well. Moving on, last grade 2 is Knight of Dawnlight Iago. I can't read upside down. I just run this because I don't want to play Salonius, and none of the other grade 2s are really good, I think, so I just have this, and here we are. Moving on. Next are grade 1s. So I think this card right here, 4 copies of Knight of Isolation Karnus. I think this is the best card in the entire deck. Because the way I play, I deck thin a lot, and then the Karnus lets me refill my deck so I can bottom deck a card. But its skill is Rearguard. If you have a Vanguard with a Unite ability, it gets resist. So if you're on Golden Holy Sword, it just gets resist. And then its other skill, which I like the most, is GB1 Unite. You rest this card and give another card 4k. And then you choose a Rearguard besides Karnus, and bottom deck it. And then you can draw a card and then countercharge 1. So again, if you play like I do, and I deck thin a lot, you'll want to refill your deck so you don't deck out and lose. I hope this card comes to standard and has kind of the same skill, which I don't think. Moving on, 4 copies of Garboduke, Stride Fodder. Discard it for a grade 3. Basically it. Next, 3 copies of Holy Mage Alessia. Just grade 1 PG. First skill is you choose a card from your hand and discard it, and then your Vanguard can't be hit until the end of that battle. The second skill is kind of nice, which is Unite. When you call this card, you can bottom deck Rearguard, and it gets plus 15k until the end of that battle. So again, if you deck thin a lot, like I do, you'll want to refill your deck so you don't deck out. Next, 2 copies of Knight of Morning Light Horsa. This card's really nice because if you stride into Gurguit Helios, let's say you call Horsa. Let me explain the skill first. GB1 Unite. When another rear guard is placed, Horsa and a card in front of it, they both get plus 2k until end of turn. So again, if you call this behind Gurguit Helios, and you call a lot, they'll both be getting a lot of power during that turn. Next, one copy of Sunshine Knight Jeffrey. I use a lot of soul with this deck, so I need to be able to refill it a lot. Skill is GB1 Unite. At the end of the turn that this boosts, you can shove it to soul and draw a card. So again, you refill your soul and you get an extra card after it boosts. Lastly, for grade 1s, one copy of Holy Mage Candace. It's just a regular PG. You discard a card and your unit can't get hit for the rest of the battle. I want to swap this out for Alessia, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Lastly, for the main deck for triggers, 4 copies of Liberator Shaggy Rabbit. These are the kind of best heals that I like. When you discard this card for a G-Guard, you bind this heal and another heal in your drop zone, and you can countercharge one or soul charge one. So again, I use soul quite a bit because of stride skill and stride. So I want to be able to refill my soul for that stride. Next, for Scarface Lion, when your Vanguard attacks, if it has a Vanguard with Gurguit in its name, you shove the soul, draw a card, and gets plus 5. I like this because, again, refilling the soul, and you get an extra card before drive checks. Next, 4 copies of Player of the Holy Pipe Jerry. This is a nice card because, I'll just explain it. GB1 Unite gets plus 3k and a skill of after this unit attacks or boosts, you shove the soul and you countercharge one. So again, refilling soul, refilling or turning your damage back face up to be able to use it for other skills. So it's just a pretty nice card. Next, 2 copies of Flame of Victory. Shove the soul, give a unit 3k until end of turn. Again, can't stress this enough. If you play like I do, you're going to run out of soul quite a bit, and you want to be able to refill it. 1 copy of Ketchgall Liberator. This card is really good of meeting the Unite requirement, because when this card is placed from the deck, you can bottom deck it and then check top 3 cards of the deck and call 1, and then put the other 2 into the deck and then shuffle. So let's say you call Henrinus, you use its skill, Ketchgall's in one of those 3 cards, you call Ketchgall, put the other 2 at the bottom of the deck, put this in the bottom of the deck, and then check top 3 again for another card, which is really nice because, again, meeting that Unite requirement. And then 1 copy of Dauntigal because I don't have another Flame of Victory. So that's it for the main deck. Now moving on to the G-Zone. I kind of struggle with this because I don't really know. I kind of know what to play, but I'm still missing a few spaces. So anyway, definitely 4 copies of Master Swordsman or First Light Gurguit Helios. This is the card I was talking about earlier with Horsa. First turn, Unite, you turn a card face up, has the same name as this, and it gets a drive plus 1. The other skill is GB3. This unit gets 5k for each rear guard. And when it attacks, your opponent can call grade 1 or higher cards from hand to guard. So again, if you stride this and call Horsa and you keep calling the board, this is going to get a lot of power, horse is going to get a lot of power, and then this also gets 5k for each rear guard. So it gets plus 25 by itself before its skill, which is really nice. Next, 4 copies of Holy Sword of Heavenly Law Gurguit. This is my first stride that I usually go into, because Gurguit Helios requires GB3, and the other stride I'll talk about next is kind of a better second stride. But anyway, this is the skill is you counterblast 1, choose another Heavenly Law and turn it face up, and discard a card. When this unit attacks, you look at top 7 cards of the deck and you call 1, shuffle the rest into your deck, of course, and then this gets a skill of, I'm sorry. All your units get 2,000 power for each face-up Gurguit with its card name in G-Zone. So you pay the cost, you flip a card, and all your units get plus 2k for each Gurguit face-up in your G-Zone. This is the card that hurts my soul, literally, and metaphorically, because of the deck. It's Sunrise Ray Radiant Sword Gurguit. This is the reason why I played Jerry and Scarface Lion and Film of Victory, is because of this stride. Because it's Act GB2 Unite, you counterblast 1, Soul Blast 2. This gets 5k for each of your rear guards, and 5 of your rear guards get plus 5k. The reason why I go out of soul a lot is because I use stride skill, and this isn't once per turn, so you can keep doing it as long as you have the resources to do so. So again, that's why I want to play cards to refill that soul, so you can use this card. Next, GB8 for Gold Paladin. Gold Knight of Links, Celtic's winner. GB8 Unite. When this unit attacks, you choose 4 rear guards. Choose up to 4 rear guards, and they get a skill of when after it attacks or boosts, you look at top 2 cards and you call a card, and it gets plus 5k until end of turn, and you bottom deck the other card that you looked at. So it's just a multi-attacker kind of stride. So hopefully you win the game with this stride or earlier. So strides are done. Next, G-Zone. 1 copy of True Liberator of Healing Elise. This card's not as good as Slimy Flare, but it's one of the best in Gold Paladin that we have. Its skill is you counterblast 1, choose another G-Guardian, turn it face up, and then you look at top 2 cards of the deck, and you call 1 to the Guardian Circle, and you bottom deck the other one. And if that attack is successfully blocked by however many cards you use, the called card that you used off of the lease, you can move it to the rear guard, so you could refill your board if it was destroyed. So yeah, it's pretty nice, but still not as good as Slimy Flare. And lastly, as I was just talking about, 3 copies of Golden Beast Slimy Flare, best cheat card ever in Gold Paladin. Skill is you choose a rear guard and you put it to the bottom of your deck. You look at top 5 cards of the deck and you call up to 2 cards with different grades to the Guardian Circle, and you shuffle the rest into your deck. The reason why I love this card so much, because in Premium, let's say you're playing Ezel and you play this card, you look at top 5, and let's say there's a draw PG or a PG of some kind, and that you can just call that to the Guardian Circle and then just PG so it doesn't hit, so which is nice. So that's it for the deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to the channel. I do plan on making a deck profile for post the next stage for Alt Mile, and I also have a little surprise that not many people would see coming, but hopefully I can get that done and show you guys. But again, I hope you guys liked the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.